Hello everyone, I'm Stuart again. You probably remember me from 10:30 this morning. I'm a man of many hats. Martin, who you've already met. Martin's very famous for his collection of shirts. How many do you have?
About 40.
About 40, yes.
This one's Ecology themed, you see.
Yes, yeah, it's very nice. So Ecology, so how many people like going out on a Sunday, a walk in the countryside, maybe a pub lunch, having a look at rivers, wildlife? Exactly. Ecology is really important, so we're lucky that we've turned it into a business stream, but actually we're all really interested in ecology. We love sitting in the garden, summer's evening, listening to the birds, that sort of stuff, glass of wine, some cheese maybe.
Hold the drink.
Bottle of red. So, lovely. So, very similar to the environmental presentation this morning, there's different phases within ecology of what you would do when a client approaches you and wants some assistance on site. So, not only is ecology important to us all, we all like the countryside, so on and so forth. But essentially what we try and do, we try and protect clients from getting sued. So there's lots of protected species, and our role is to make sure they abide by the law. That's the key thing. So what do we do in ecology? Well, there's three separate phases. There's a phase one, which we're going to discuss in a minute, and that's called a preliminary ecological appraisal, PEA. So that's one of the buzzwords to take away from today. PEA, phase one. Very similar to a contaminated land phase one. So if everyone can write that down. Phase two, so a bit like the drilling works, once you've done the phase one, you do a phase two, and you do some further species surveys. I've put in there including a quiz, because we've just put a little quiz in here. We don't offer quizzes to clients as a service. Although, with some of the balance of air quality, we might start doing that. We then go into mitigation. So once we've found things on site that are either protected or need to be mitigated against, say newts in ponds or reptiles, we then advise the clients on what they need to do with it. So what's the mitigation? So it's phase 1, 2, 3, very similar to contaminated land. We also do something called biodiversity net gain. So when we advise clients on what extra things that they could do to their site to add, say, habitats for birds, butterflies, bees, or whatever. So they're the main things we're going to cover. So phase one, very, very similar to the contaminated land phase one. Pretty much all desk-based with a half-day site visit, very simply. So an ecology phase one essentially includes a desk study. So we'll look at local records, planning policy, designated sites within the area. Very, very importantly, same with the contaminated land phase one and the geotech phase one, is we do a site walkover. It's really important you go and see the site, see the nature of the site, where it's set, the site setting, what's around it, so on and so forth. So we always offer a site visit with our phase ones. Quite a few other companies who offer them for a much cheaper price don't. So we offer a site visit, which is really important. We can review protected species potentials. And then we make recommendations for anything that we found on site. So say, for example, could be a habitat for bats. So we then need to propose some bat surveys, as an example. We can assess the ecological value of a site and any potential ecological impacts as part of the development. So say, for example, we're on a green field here and they're looking to build a hotel. You know, what's on that site? What protected species could be moved or disturbed? And then obviously we also advise on any mitigation measures that we might need to do. And anything we can enhance on site as well. You know, can we make the site better? Can we make it more ecological habitable? One for you, Martin? All right, no, okay, I'll do it. So once we've done the phase one, and we've determined what type of ecological species can be on site, we then recommend a phase two. Done the phase one, build it, invoice the client, they've paid, hopefully. We then recommend further surveys of what they need to do. And these further surveys cover a whole range of species. Great crested newts. Anyone heard of great crested newt? GCNs?
Yeah.
Can stop developments with a drop of a hat.
They wear hats.
Bats, dormice, reptiles, badgers, water voles, otters, breeding birds, invertebrates, botanical surveys, lots of different surveys that we can do. A lot of these require special training, which, so when we're recruiting people, it's important that they've got certain licenses where we can then basically punt out to clients. But there's a little quiz here, I think Martin's going to do this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no prizes, I don't think.
Yeah, so a key thing about ecology, if you've ever wondered why it's these particular species that we're talking about that are mentioned and protected, well, they're key species that if we see declines in their populations, that's a marker that there's a decline in the overall ecological population of that area. So that's why there's certain species that are protected when others aren't. So let's see how well you know your species. So there's a number of pictures on the board here. Feel free to shout out. Anybody tell me what they are from the top?
That's grass.
Correct, slower. Next one down on the right. A skink. It is a lizard. It's a common lizard. I think it's bottom left next, I think. It's a snake, yeah, it is a snake. I think someone said adder. They are correct. Has anyone ever seen an adder? And the last one? Grass snake. Yes, well done.
Martin, the picture on the top left, I think that's grass.
Yes.
But it's unimproved grass.
An important ecological habitat there. Okay. Next. So this creature can be found along riverbanks. It's an offence to intentionally or recklessly damage, destroy, or obstruct access to a, and there's a bit of a clue as to what it might be right there. It is a water vole, yes. It's a rat. Okay, next one. Any ideas on this one? It's definitely a newt. It's a very specific type. It is a grey crested newt, yes.
It's the great crest that sort of gives it away.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Okay, another popular one we quite often hear about is bats. What kind of bat is that? Somebody say pipistrelle. Bang on, yes, common pipistrelle bat. I mean, as it suggests, these ones are quite common. If you walk around the city centre of Manchester late at night, anywhere near the canals, you will see lots of these. This little guy, who's he? I don't know if it is a guy actually, but anybody know this one? Dormouse? Yeah, there we go. And again, the clues on the slide for this for this guy.
Badger.
Yeah, not a badger, no, but hold on to that thought. Yeah, so otters are European protected species, protected under the conservation regulations. So again, it's illegal to kill, injure or disturb an otter. So a key part of all the different types of species that we've got, I remember I took the badger slide out, but there was a badger slide as well. And a key restriction of our surveys, and often a frustration for clients, is when we can actually get out to survey these habitats. So if during the phase 1 we identify that there might be a specific habitat for one of these species, we then need to come back to do the phase 2 surveys, but they can only be done at a certain time of year. Well, if their planning application says, you know, they've sat on it for a while and it expires in, say, May time, and they want to do the work in January, well, they can't. They need to wait until the correct months to do the surveys. So that is a key piece of communication we have to have with our clients. Okay, let's hand back.
Thank you. So back on to phase 3 mitigation. So these are the things that you can do once you've found something on site. and this is really the nuts and bolts. It's getting a solution for the client. I can move away a bit from that speaker. It's getting a solution for a client. So we can do great crested newt translocations, which has to be done under a license. We've got a reptile translocation scheme on at the moment with Persimmon Homes East Midlands, I believe, near Peterborough. So we're doing 35 days of trapping and relocation. So basically you can select a donor site. So you're moving from the actual site to the donor site. And then we also provide an ecology watching brief when all of the fencing, the last thing you want is to put them on another site and then they come back. So essentially you put all this fencing up and we supervise it to make sure the fencing contractor's doing it correctly, to make sure that they don't come back on again. So essentially what we do, there's, depending on the population or the anticipated population, you can do 30, 60 or 90 days of translocation schemes. You need to then have, is it 7 days? You have to have a certain number of days of absence on the site before you can say you've moved everything. But essentially, the developer isn't allowed to do anything on that site apart from the new fence installation until that's been done. So that is where the most profitable part of ecology comes from. So what we try and do, say, 20 phase ones. That then goes through into, say, 10 phase 2 surveys. So we can pin down exactly what's on site. And then that then goes into, then maybe 5 of those, 2 of those might go into mitigation. And that's where the big fees are, because you can get 30, 60 or 90 days at work at £500 and something a day, plus a management fee, plus supervising the fencing installation and stuff. So that's generally how we, in terms of business development in ecology, something Rob's worked a lot on in the last year is sort of mapping those schemes and keeping an eye on them to try and get in with the mitigation works. So last year we didn't have any translocation jobs at all. Quite a lot of the companies we used to work for, quarry companies, they took that in-house, which is a bit of a shame. We can still provide a bit of ad hoc advice, but that's where the real money is. We do breeding bird checks, bat roost works, so quite a lot of bat work's done, so bat survey, say maybe sort of £3,000. And any of the relocation works have to be done under a licence, same with water voles, same with badgers. So this is a badger relocation scheme here, where these are sort of one-way doors, so the badgers are allowed to come out, but then they shut behind and they're not allowed back in again.
What's the other side?
Of that, I don't know, in all honesty. Yeah. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Yeah. The only thing, Alan's worked on a lot of network rail schemes, and I used to do a lot of ground investigation work with Network Rail and London Underground, and badgers used to cause huge issues on big embankments in terms of instability. So collapse, yeah, I mean, it's one of their biggest issues. So just one, the last slide really, just on biodiversity net gain. So it's quite a hot topic. You might well hear that sort of bounded about. So basically it's an opportunity just to make some improvements on site. So on the left here you've got some bat boxes, some owl boxes. Quite a lot of time now, especially on, again, Network Rail, London Underground land, they leave when they cut down trees, they leave them all on site to make habitats and stuff. So, they're taking away a habitat, but they're actually creating another one. Then we've got, again, just sort of a meadow down there. What's that on there? That is bird box. And then green roofs. Green roofs is a big thing at the moment. So that's basically green roofs are for how you treat rainwater, because what they don't want rainwater to fall on the building. Then it goes into the sewers and it overloads the sewers. It's a big part of planning at the moment, and it links up quite nicely with the work we do with drainage in terms of the ground conditions. So again, the local authorities, a lot of the statutory regulators want green roofs to take in that rainwater to stop it being discharged into drains and overflowing the system we've got. So ecology buzzword. Phase 1. PEA, preliminary ecological appraisal, very similar to the phase 1 that we're doing contaminated land. Phase 2, species surveys. Phase 3, mitigation. And then you've got the biodiversity net gain. And that is it. Yeah, no, don't need to clap, don't worry.